Alright, y'all, we're back, and we're going to talk about the metric system. So remember that in the United States, we use what's called the imperial system, and most of the rest of the world uses the metric system. So I'm going to tell a quick story to hopefully help you remember the metric prefixes. So, first thing in the story is imagine that you are in a room, and in the middle of the room is one desk. It just appears. So you've got one desk, and climbing up the sides of the legs on that desk are two centipedes. And centipedes are kind of gross because they have 100 legs. And suddenly, you've got the one desk in the middle of the room, the two centipedes crawling up the sides of the desk, and then in walk 3 military men. So, you're kind of like, well, this is a really weird room. So, you've got the one desk in the center of the room, 2 centipedes crawling up the legs, 3 military men marching around, and suddenly you end up getting 6 microwaves. And you're like, why do I have these microwaves? And then, with these 6 microwaves that have suddenly appeared and are plugged into the wall, in walk 9 nannies. And these are like nannies, like what you have. And suddenly, they are carrying 12 bowls of Pico. And they're going to share those 12 bowls of Pico with the military men. And they can microwave it in these 6 microwaves on the wall. So why do I tell you this story? Because what this story relates to is to the metric prefixes for the units smaller than the base unit. So one desk relates to the prefix deci. 2 centipedes relates to the prefix centi. Oh my word, computer. Relates to the prefix centi. Military men relates to the prefix milli. Microwaves relates to the prefix micro. Nannies relates to the prefix nano. And pico relates to the prefix pico. So what does that mean? Well, the numbers actually mean something. So remember in scientific notation, the exponent means how many zeros something had. So if I have a base unit, so if I have one base unit, so that would be like 1 meter, or if I have 1 liter, or if I have 1 gram. So my base units are typically going to be meters, liters, grams, and occasionally seconds. So basically those are our base units. If I have 1 meter, how many decimeters are in it? Well, to figure that out, I know that the prefix deci means 10 raised to the first. That's why there was 1 desk. So, in 1 meter, there are 10 raised to the first decimeters. So that means in 1 meter, there are 10 decimeters. In 1 liter, there are 10 grams. In 1 liter, there are 10 deciliters. In 1 gram, there are 10 decigrams. Same thing for seconds. In 1 second, there are 10 deciseconds. In 1 meter, there is 10 to the second centiliter. So 10 to the second, 10 times 10 is 100. So for every 1 meter, there's 100 centimeters. For every 1 liter, there's 100 centigrams. 100 centiliters. For every 1 gram, there's 100 centigrams. Milli means 10 to the third. So that's 1,000. 10 times 10 times 10. So for every 1 meter, there are 1,000 milliliters. Millimeters. For every 1 liter, there are 1,000 milliliters. Micro is 10 to the 6th. So that means there are 1,000,000 microseconds in every 1 second, or 1,000,000 micrometers in every 1 meter. And then nano means 10 to the 9th. So that would mean that there are 1 billion microseconds in every 1 second. And then pico is 10 to the 12th. So the way that you put this into your calculator is 10 raised to the first, or 10 raised to the second, or 10 raised to the third. So those are the prefixes when these are all smaller than the base unit. And you will need to know these. These will be required for you to memorize. We're going to use them a lot. But then we can also have base units that are bigger than the base. So what this means is that if I have 1 giga, or if I have 1 mega, or if I have 1 kilo, one thing to remember is capital M is for mega, capital G is for giga, and lowercase k is for kilo. We'll go back and talk about the others in just a second. Is that there are 10 to the third base units in every 1 kilo unit. So that means for every 1 kilometer, there are 1,000 meters. Mega is 10 to the 6th, so that means there are 1 million base units for every 1 mega unit. So for every 1 megameter, there are 1 million meters. And then giga, I believe, is 10 to the 9th. So what that means is that it is 1 billion base units for every 1 gigameter, or gigasecond, or gigaliter, or gigagram. Going back just a second, deci, it would be a lowercase d, centi is a lowercase c, milli is a lowercase m, micro is a u. It's weird, it's a Greek letter, but it looks like a u. Nano is a lowercase n, and pico is a lowercase p. The big thing to remember is that you have to make sure milli has a small m, and that mega has a big M. Alright? So here's this written as meters. These are all of our small units. So remember that 1 meter is bigger than all of these. So there are 10 decimeters in a meter, 100 centimeters in a meter, 1,000 millimeters in a meter, 1 million micrometers in a meter, 1 billion nanometers in a meter, and 1 trillion picometers, I believe that is correct, in a meter. So here is the prefixes written in a different way, but we are going to use these as we do dimensional analysis and metric calculations.